Risk management, guys, is incredibly important to be profitable in trading. If you do not have good risk management, you will not be profitable. Just bottom line. It's the most important thing in trading. Basically, trading, if someone asks what you do for work and you're a full-time trader, say, I'm in financial risk management, because that's what you're in. You know, saying, oh, I'm a day trader. It's actually, if you're serious, no, you're in risk management. That's what you're doing. You're managing risk when you trade. Okay, so get that drilled into your brain. Risk management, it includes a lot of different factors that we're going to go over here, and this is going to help you. This is going to help you guys, become profitable. So here we go. Uh, what you need, very important, to set your max loss per day, right? You need to set a daily fixed loss. So for me, I set my loss to 650. You don't have to set it that high. You can set it at 400. You can set it at 200. This is just the risk that I'm okay with losing. You stop trading once the risk hits, or once the trade hits, or you stop trading once the max loss hits. You're done for the day. This prevents you from getting emotional and taking stupid trades and tilting, right? So respecting your max loss on the day also makes you take better trades, because you know that once you hit your max loss, you're done. So you're like, okay, I got to lock in. I got to make sure that I'm taking an A plus setup. And I'm going to show you right here in Tradeovate how to set those risk management parameters. That way, the Tradeovate will automatically take you out of the trade if you hit your daily loss limit. Okay, so you come to Tradeovate. Here we have eval, a lucid eval, and I want to adjust my risk settings here. I come over to my risk settings, the blue icon on the right, click on that, and then you have your risk settings here. I set my daily loss limit. It looks like this when you first look at it. So risk settings, daily loss limit. My tolerance is 650, but you can set this, to 400. You can set it, to 200, whatever. My risk is 650. We have weekly loss limit. Don't really care about that. Daily profit trigger. With this lucid eval, I do care about that because there's a 50% consistency rule. So the profit target is 3,000, so 50% is 1,500. So it'll take me out of the trade if I make $1,500 and I'm done for the day. That usually does not happen. I usually do not make $1,500 in one day because I don't trade that size. If I'm trading a 50K account, making $1,500 in a day is you're I would say you're over leveraging. You're either over leveraging or you caught a massive banger. But that, regardless, we're going to set that weekly profit trigger. Well, let's set that, right. If the profit target is 3K, let's set the weekly to 30-30. Okay, so that way when we hit 30-30 on the week, it takes us out. Now, if we get to the next week and we're still trading in this account, we'll have to adjust this. So say we made 1,700 the week before, right? So we take the 3K and then subtract the 1,700, 1,300. So to hit the profit target on that week, after we made 1,700 the previous week, we would need to set it to 1,300, right? But this, for now, since this is my first week trading this eval, I'm going to set it to 30-30. Okay, so once the account hits 3K, I just do 30-30 just in case, for the fees and all of that stuff. And I also like numbers that I like numbers like that, being numbers. So we'll go ahead and save that. Now we have our risk settings set up, and if we lose $650, Tradeovate will close the trade, and we'll be done for the day. Now, there's a new feature here that Tradeovate implemented, and it's on most prop firms, but Apex doesn't have this. They chose not to include this in their Tradeovate, so be aware of that. But Lucid does. So we'll go to manual lockout, okay, and it's telling you, okay, you're not gonna be able to trade once you lock your trading. So I can set it to lock at the end of the trading day. I can set 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour custom. So this is good if you lose a trade and you need that cool down period. If you can't if you don't yet have the discipline to handle that cool down period and take your 2 3 minutes, um, you can come here and you can set a time, right? 15 minutes, 30 minutes, but and then you can set your time here. So that's a good thing. Once you hit your profit target, lock your trading till the end of the day. It doesn't hurt, Even if you do have the discipline to be done, lock it. Why not? There's no harm in that. No harm in that. That's risk management right there. Okay. So let's come back here. We talked about our max loss per day. Let me just make sure this is recording well. Okay. Yeah. We have our Tradeovate risk settings, right? So we just went over that. Set the daily loss in the risk tab, disable trading after max loss, and that way you automate the discipline, right? You automate the discipline. Same thing with the lockout feature. Let the program work for you. Okay, next slide. I trade with mental stops. Okay, I do not put hard stops in my trades because I'm trading off structure, and you have to be able to manage the trade and watch the trade like in real time. So I don't set hard stops. I know some people will be like, "Oh my god, that's just not the way I trade." That and it's I'll teach you guys, the in my opinion the right way to trade. The mentors that I learned from, they use mental stops as well. They're really good. So that's what I learned, and that's what I'm sticking with. With that being said, you never want to move your stop farther away, right? So, for example, let's look at an example here. Um, on here on NQ, if I want to long, I'm looking to long 2,800. That's a psychological number, and I want to long at that level. So you guys can see here, I set an alert at 28,040. So I would take this trade. I would say, okay, I'm longing at 2,800. Where's my stop? Where's my stop? And I would ask you guys, hey, where should it be if this was live? But it's not live right now, so I'm gonna tell you where the stop would be. It would be right here at that structure. Okay, so that's 30 points. That's from 2,800, that's a 30-point stop. So if I take this when I take this trade off 2,800, I want to make at least 30 points for a positive RR, at least. But we really want to look at 2-to-1, right? We really want it to be 2-to-1. So let's see what we can do here. Let's come over to our tools and do a long position here. So forecasting, this is going to tell you your RR, risk to reward. Okay, so you got long position, short position. We want to go long, right, at 28. So we're going to click it, and then we're going to click here. Okay, and then we're going to set our profit target's high of day. Okay, and then we're going to set our max loss. Okay, so look at this. Look at this ratio right here. That's that is a 4.97 R, pretty much a 5 R trade, right? And so what does that tell you about this trade in terms of risk? We're looking at risk right here. Is this good risk to reward? Absolutely. Absolutely. 28,000 is a very strong level. We would stop out here, I would say a little bit below structure, just so you don't get kind of wicked out here. And target high of day there. Okay, that's how you measure the risk of a trade. And you know that every tick is $20. Every tick is $20. So keep that in mind for NQ. For micros, that it's different. I think it's 5. I think it's 5. I should know that, but it is. Um, anyway, so that's how you measure risk right there. That shows you, okay, that's a great trade to take, and I will take that trade. I will take that trade if I get that alert on that level, and I will take it in that exact manner. I don't set a manual stop because I don't want to get wicked out, right? Sometimes market makers will come and they know where people are going to stop. They know where people place their stops. They wick them out and then they reverse the position. So I want to be watching price action as we approach the stop. That way I can see, okay, is price coming down aggressively, or is it kind of losing its momentum and chopping a little bit at that level. If you put a hard stop there, you're not able to measure those things, right? If it's coming down and it's chopping at 2800, it's breaking, going through, and it holds the level. If you set the stop here, um, you could get wigged out. You do know mentally that your stop is there though. Like if it fails if it fails uh, 970 and it looks weak, you have to stop out. You have to stop out there. Um, so with manual stops, you really do have to have the discipline, but you're able to watch the price action, and I think that's super important to be able to do. Super important to be able to watch the price at your stops and specifically at your stops. Okay. So we're going to come back over here. That was a little example of how to measure risk to reward. That's very important. You always want your risk to reward to be at least 1-to-1, but 2-to-1 should be minimum. Should be minimum. Okay, let's move on. Measure risk to reward. We just did that. I'm always like kind of a step ahead of what we're going to talk about. So yeah, I mean, make sure it's I would say 2-to-1, but uh, only take the trades that meet criteria and skip the low quality setups, right? So measure your RR before you take the trade and make sure that it makes sense. Okay, so this is an example of NQ. This is trading NQ, not MNQ. So uh, here's a good example. 1800. If your stop is 17,990, that's 10 points. That's $200 of risk with $20 a point on NQ. Your target's 18,030. That's 30 points for $600 reward. That's a 1-to-3 RR. Okay, that's a good trade. That's a good trade. This is part of risk management, a big part of risk management. And you can see why traders are, why we're profitable is because we measure these things. It's very important that you don't go in blindly. So now we're going to talk about max position size. If you're trading a 50K account, don't be full porting 5 NQ. Okay, you're just going to blow account after account. Trade MNQ. I know it's more boring, and people they want to hit their profit targets. They want to get paid out. They want to do all that. Slowly is the fastest way, guys. Slowly is the fastest way, especially when you're trading these 50K accounts. These are not 300K accounts. Okay, a 50K account, you should not trade more than 1 NQ on a 50K account. You should not. So that's 10 NMQ. Every 10 NMQ equals 1 NQ. I like to trade with these current market conditions. I trade 6 MNQ max, and I scale in variations of 3. Sometimes I do trade NQ, but I really recommend that new traders just trade MNQ and they trade 3 to 6. Stick with that. Stick with that, and you'll stay in the game. Avoid over leveraging. Plain and simple. Avoid it. Do not do it. It's not going to bring you anything good. Okay, so cooldown period. This is very important for me in particular. I tend to, if I take a red trade, want to get in immediately and fix it immediately and get my account back green immediately. And that doesn't turn out well because, I'll flip sides, and it just doesn't I stop using my rational brain and start using my emotional centers. So this is something I really work on, guys. After a loss, I take my phone. I said, hey Siri, set timer for 3 minutes. Okay, 3 minutes. I can get up, I can walk away. That's usually what I do. I go pet my dog, say hi, give him a treat. Just have some time to process what happened and what you're going to do next. Very important. Set that timer and wait. Another trade will come. Another trade will come. Okay. So next, let's talk about your trade limits. My limit really is 3 trades per day, and some people would say that's high. But I think 3 trades per day max is the absolute max. The less, the better. If you can hit your target and you can get your one good trade in one trade, that's the best case scenario. The less trades, the better. So focus on the quality setups. Do not limit yourself. If you limit yourself to 2 or 3 trades per day, what kind of setups do you think you're going to be taking? You're going to be taking trades and setups that are A plus because you know that you only are able to take 3 trades today. And another rule that I have in particular is to trade 2 max at the same level. So what that means is if we're here on NQ and I'm taking this 28,000 bounce, and for whatever reason I stop out of it, for whatever reason, and I decide, okay, let me wait my 2 minutes and reassess here and see, go pet the dog, come back to the charts and be more grounded. Say, okay, I want to re-enter. And for whatever reason, that trade gets stopped out too. Then I'm done trading that 28,000 level. Why? Because it's being manipulated. Obviously, I mean, the levels if you lose twice on one level, do not trade that level again. It's not your trade. It's not your level to trade. Plain and simple. Okay. Over trading kills your edge. Do not overtrade. Best case scenario is 1 good trade. Emotions and fatigue. This is super important, and I think a lot of people skip over this. If you're tired and you slept like shit, do not trade. Okay, I've made this mistake before. My mental faculties are not at 100%. I didn't sleep good. I could have drank the day before. Whatever it is, you need to check yourself before you even sit down and make sure that you are in a prime to trade, like that you're emotionally okay. There's nothing else happening in your life that is really affecting you and taking up mental space. If anything is going on in your life, something tragedy, your grandma died, something like that, your pet died, watch yourself. Probably do not trade. Take the time to process what's going on. If you're too tired and you slept bad or you're hungover, it's okay. Take the day off, save your account, wait until the next day, and then you'll be okay the next day, right? Maybe you won't be. If you're not, then don't trade. Sometimes you need to take a little break, but it's very important to know where you're at emotionally and mentally before you even get on the charts. That's a lot. That's self-awareness right there. And I also, for that, it's also super important to meditate. I recommend 20 minutes, but you you can start with 5 minutes. I'll make a different video on this because this is very important. Meditation and trading go hand in hand. When you get good at meditation, that'll translate over to your discipline in trading, and nobody talks about this. Nobody talks about this. This is an edge right here. And I'll make a different video on this, but that is, and I hope this video is not too long. How long is this? I don't want to go too long here. Where's the timer? Oh, 20 minutes, okay. I'll try and go a little bit quicker. Okay, so let's see here. Market condition, trading versus ranging, right? That's not really risk management, but all-time high, long pullbacks. That's just really market conditions. Weekly discipline rules. Okay, limit the number of accounts traded. You have to say, okay, I'm only going to trade one eval this week. I'm just going to trade one eval this week. That's all I'm going to buy. And if I blow it, I'm done till next week. That's going to create discipline. You have to have that set before you start your week, right? So, I mean, you can say, okay, limit number of accounts, maybe 2 evals, but set your risk there. Set your risk so you're not just buying account after account. Limit the number of accounts you buy per week. Obviously, review your trades weekly. I'll do a different video on TradeZella and how to use that for journaling. Very important. Review, review, review. If you don't review your trades, you're not going to get better. That's it. That's it. So you need to track your mistakes and your wins very closely. And lastly, let's look at this. Final rule, discipline over strategy. Discipline is more important than strategy because it's harder to have. Strategy you can have. You know, this category you can develop, you know, decently quickly. The discipline, that's where the work is. Okay, guys, so follow your rules, follow your risk management, and then you'll be able to trust yourself. If you don't follow your rules, how are you ever going to be able to trust yourself? You won't be able to, and that'll really mess up your trading. So follow your discipline, follow your risk management. You'll be able to trust yourself, and over time, you'll see yourself, you know, growing your accounts. You'll see yourself getting payouts and becoming profitable. Okay, guys. So I'm going to end this video now. I hope everyone learned something from this, and you know, we can go over it more in the chat. You guys can ask me questions or anything like that. Happy to help.